An actual game we use, and it's improvisational, and they have to really watch out for the other person. The first word that we teach is ensemble. Change directions. Spread yourself out. There's lots of room all over the place. I like the way you're moving. Change directions. Freeze. Total focus freeze. And walk. Change directions. Spread yourself out. There's lots of room. Get ready for the cue. Freeze! Rather than walking around the room, let's see if you can sneak around the room. Spread yourself out as you're sneaking. Remember not to follow the other person or to look at them. Change directions. That was a good change. Excellent. Change directions. Freeze. Get your focus. Rather than sneaking around the room, let's see if you can't skip around the room. Ready? You can skip. No sound. Change directions. Make sure you're not banging into anybody. If you bang into somebody, it means that you probably are out of control. Change directions. We start with the body. We try to get the heart rate up. When your heart rate goes up, you remember more. The brain's working, right? Connection to the brain is actually through the body. Change directions. Brain research shows it. Change directions. Freeze. And sneak around the room. Freeze. And hop, little bunny hops around the room. Change directions. Freeze. Beginning position. Makau-kau.
Aye.
Pot.
You may wonder who we are.
We'll wander on until the truth makes all things plain.
We are the storytellers.
And their job is simply to tell stories. Like the rising of the waves and the stars and the wind in the deepest part of the ocean, they have come across time to tell you stories about the beginning of the world. Our story takes place in Hawaii. The name of the story is called
How Maui Slowed the Sun. Let the story begin.
a long, 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 long time ago, maybe before memory, there was a group of islands in the middle of the soilless solitudes of the Pacific Ocean that we now call Hawaii. And on one of those islands there was a very special boy named Maui. But Maui was no ordinary boy. Oh no. He was a demigod. A demigod is part human and part God. He had magical powers. He could change his body shape into many different things. In Hawaiian, he was called a kapua. He could change into bamboo, fish, birds, or some of the things he could change himself into. And when the storyteller said go, all of the magic rocks turned into one of those things. Ready? Go. If you're a bird, you can make some sound. If you're a bird, you can make some sound. Freeze. Magic rocks. Well, Maui was an ordinary boy in one particular way. He loved to play like all children of the world. And one day, Maui woke up with a big yawn and said, "Look, the sun's coming up.
Look, the sun's coming up.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
And the breeze is blowing.
And the breeze is blowing.
A perfect day
A perfect day
to fly my kite."
to fly my kite.
So Maui got out of bed, put on his clothes, went over to a basin of water, faced the audience, and splashed the water on his face. And then underneath his arm. He took a whole body bath. It felt good. He reached over to some kapa, some cloth his mother had made, and dried himself. He put it down. Then he went over to get his favorite kite. He pulled out a big ball of string he had just made, and then he ran outside to fly his kite. Great. Maui pulled on this string and said, I love to fly my kite.
I love to fly my kite.
I love to play.
I love to play.
But oh no.
Oh no.
The sun's already coming down.
The sun's already come down.
I've got to go home.
I've got to go home.
He pulled in his kite, and as he did, he said out loud, why does the sun
Why does the sun
move across the sky so quickly?
move across the sky so quickly?
He gathered the rope and his kite, and he began to walk home. As he walked home, he came across some fisherwomen that were busy repairing their nets along the side by the ocean. Maui came up to the fisherwoman and said, hey,
Hey,
how's it?
how's it?
What's up?
What's up?
How many fish did you catch today?
How many fish did you catch today?
The fisherwomen did not look happy. They stood up, they looked at Maui, they said, not one.
Not one.
Maui said, oh, way.
No way.
The fisherwoman said, we know where the fish are.
We know where the fish are.
They're right over there.
They're right over there.
You just got to go around the point,
Around the point.
go to the left,
Go to the left.
you come to this big holly.
You come to this big holly.
It's right over there.
It's right over there.
But
But
by the time we get there,
by the time we get there,
the sun's already coming down.
the sun's already coming down.
Now he walked on his way home. He came across some women that were busy farming in the fields. They had sugar cane and sweet potato, but they were all withered and dead. Maui said, what happened to your plants?
What happened to your land?
The farmers stopped working. They spread themselves out. They looked at Maui and said, Maui,
Maui,
there's no time.
there's no time.
No time to plant the crops,
No time to plant the crops,
and not enough sun
and not enough sun
for the plants to grow.
for the plants to grow.
Maui thought about this as he walked home. He came across his mother, Hina, who was busy making the cloth called tapa.
Tong, 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 tong.
Maui's mother, Hina, would look sad. Maui went over to his mother and said, Mother,
Mother,
why do you look so sad?
why do you look so sad?
His mother, Hina, stood up, spread herself out, looked at her son and said, Maui,
Maui,
there's not enough time to make tapa.
there's not enough time to make tapa.
Absolutely no time
Absolutely no time
for the tapa to dry.
for the tapa to dry.
And then she looked at her son right in the eye and she said, Maui,
Maui,
isn't there anything you can do
is there anything you can do
with all of your magical powers
with all of your magical powers
to slow the sun down?
to slow the sun down?
Maui thought about it for a second. He looked up at his mother, and his most sincere voice, he said, Mother,
Mother,
I will do my best.
I will do my best.
He walked away, and the mother, walked home. He put down his kite. He sat down and began to think. For 3 days, he saw the sun rise in the east and set in the west. Rise in the east and set in the west. Rise in the east and set in the west. On the 3rd day, he jumped up with great excitement. He said, I've got an idea.
I've got an idea.
I know what I'll do.
I know what I'll do.
So he went and got a rope that he made the day before. He coiled it up and put it down in front of him. Spread yourself out, gentlemen. He began to put a magical chant on it. He said, see this rope?
See this rope?
You must fly
You must fly
into the air
to the air
and through the sky
and through the sky
to catch the sun
to catch the sun
and make it cry.
and make it dry.
Maui gathered the rope, coiled it up, put it over one of his shoulders, took his magic war club, attached it to his belt, and turned around to walk up the slopes of Haleakala. Maui was tired, really tired. Sweat was coming down his brow. He was wet with perspiration. I don't know, just show it. He hid inside of a cave. The sun was just coming out, but still asleep. Remember to go all the way down, girls, all the way down. The sun was sound asleep, but slowly woke up with a big yawn. The sun said, I'm still tired. I'm going right back to bed. And it quickly moved across the sky. Freeze. Maui saw the first streak of light, woke up, grabbed his magic rope, made a lasso, and whirled around his head 3 times and caught one of the sun's legs with a... The sun said, let me go right now!
Let me go right now!
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
And why are you doing this to me?
And why are you doing this to me?
Maui pulled her on the rope and said, I am Maui,
I am Maui.
and I will let you go
And I will let you go.
if you promise
If you promise
to go across the sky more slowly.
to go across the sky more slowly.
The sun did not like to be bossed around. It flashed an indignant stare at Maui and said in a big loud voice, I will never promise. Maui pulled her on the rope, took his magic war club out, and came down on one of the sun's legs with a mighty... The sun said, you stop that right now! This is not funny! Maui said, promise to go across the sky more slowly.
Promise to go across the sky more slowly.
The sun did not like to be bossed around. It said, I will never promise. Maui rolls the magic war club over his head and said, suit yourself, or whatever, and brought it down on 3 of the sun's legs with a mighty... The sun was crying like a baby. He said, Mommy! Stop it! You're killing me! Maui said, promise? The sun said, all right, all right. You don't have to get so dramatic. What about we come to a compromise? We make a deal. What if I go across the sky slowly for half the year? Maui yanked on the rope. It was pulling hard. He said, he was out of breath. He said, all right, you're heavy and extremely hot. The sun blushed a little bit and said, why, thank you. And Maui said, well, promise. And the sun said, all right, I promise. Whatever. And limped across the sky slowly. And this is why the sun goes across slowly for part of the year. And during the summer time, of course, there's plenty of time for men to catch their fish, the farmers to farm, for the women to make tapa, and children make some noise, come on. Praise. That's the quietest I ever heard kids in my life. Can you actually make some noise like some real children? Go. There we go. Praise. This is part of your performance. Quickly spread yourself out and line up very nicely.